When you watch films and when you read literature and you suspect that something might be going on with respect to your faith or with respect to Christianity or Catholicism, or if you suspect that there's a deeper truth, don't be afraid to return to it and to reread it or to watch it again and to discuss it with friends. That's that little call. That's the little Holy Spirit pinging you to go further with a piece of culture and to explore what truth, hopefully the truth, that it's going to reveal to you. My name is Father Gregory Haake, and I'm a Holy Cross priest, and I'm an assistant professor of French at the University of Notre Dame in Indiana. When I first decided to study French literature, it was more out of a desire to know more about French culture in general. In other words, I'm a Francophile. I love France, I love French culture, and I also love literature, so those two things came together for me. I do find some Catholic influence in French film, obviously because it's a Catholic country historically. Just like with literature, you're going to see this in film, that it's part of the air they breathe, so to speak. If it's a Catholic environment, of course, some of those Catholic sensibilities, Catholic ideas, maybe even doctrines are going to emerge in those products of the French culture. The Colours Trilogy was a series of 3 movies that was produced in the 1990s. Directed by actually a Polish director, even though they're considered French films. It was a Polish director named Kieślowski. The films are very logically titled Blue, White, and Red. They correspond to the colors of the French flag. And they also correspond to the 3 values or virtues of the French Republic, which are liberty, equality, and fraternity. I argue that you can push beyond those civic virtues in the films and see a more Christian or more Catholic sensibility there. That in exploring these more secular virtues, that we actually see that to live together as a community, that we need to have something a bit more profound. And I would suggest that the director makes an appeal to the Christian virtues of faith, hope, and love. That these are what are going to better equip us to live together as human beings. Filmmakers, if they're trying to strike that correct balance between being too explicit in their Catholic message such that it often tends to be boring in that particular instance, or it doesn't succeed in evangelizing because the people who are attracted to that type of thing tend to be people who are already convinced. So if you're too explicit about it, you tend toward that particular fault. But if you're too subtle, then the people that you're trying to reach, the people that you're trying to evangelize, they may not even be able to pick up on the message because it is so hidden beneath the plot or beneath the characters or beneath whatever the filmmaker has chosen to present on screen. It is a balance between the two because you don't want to be too obvious, but at the same time you want to be subtle so that you draw people in, so that as they absorb the movie, as they interpret the movie, it brings them to the higher truth. It brings them to the experience of faith or the experience of the church that you want people to have. I think with Kieślowski's movies that it's perhaps a bit too subtle. That's why I have to argue that Catholic sensibility is there, because I think it's up for interpretation. Whereas in other films, I think that it's a little bit more immediately evident to the viewer that there's something religious or something Catholic, or maybe to be more specific, something sacramental or Eucharistic that's a little bit more obvious on screen.